JuJu Watkins, certified superstar who was able to burst onto the women's college basketball scene this year, fully living up to the hype of being the #1 ranked high school player. Not only did she score the most points of any freshman ever, but she was able to get Freshman of the Year honors, All-America Team Award, and also was a runner-up for the Player of the Year award. With the help of 3 Ivy League grad transfers known as the Ivies, JuJu was able to help lead USC to a Pac-12 championship and its first Elite 8 appearance in 30 years. They lost to a great UConn team, but there's no doubt about it that the JuJu era is here, USC is back, and the standard going forward has been set. Now, after the game, there was some criticism online of the fact that Mackenzie Forbes took 22 shots, and while I will admit that it is unforgivable that JuJu went 9 minutes without shooting the ball, especially seeing as how she's so prolific at drawing fouls, and UConn came in with a roster already thinned by injuries, but Mackenzie was just stepping into the role that she had assumed, and honestly, she's a big reason in the fact they even got as far as they did. She was awarded Most Outstanding Player of the Pac-12 tournament, and her and JuJu chopped the ball with about the same efficiency that last game. If anything, gotta look at the performance of the other 2 Ivies, Caitlin Davis and Kayla Padilla. Padilla had been a defensive liability even going into the game before that, and she'd honestly been their best shooter, shooting about 42% from 3, but this game she just didn't have it. They shot a combined 2 for 15. And I'm not here to put the entire blame on them at all. I'm just highlighting them because they're headed out along with 3 other seniors. So for USC, it's going to be Ivies out, Fivies in. Now I can hear you right now. Mike, who the hell is the Fivies? Don't worry, I got you. That's the 3 5-star recruits that USC is bringing in this summer. Also McDonald's All-Americans, Kaylee Heckle, Avery Howell, and Kennedy Smith. These 3 ladies combined to head what is the #1 recruiting class in all of the country. And if you haven't made the time to familiarize yourself with these 3 burger girls, then I would suggest you do so expeditiously. We should probably start with Kennedy Smith, the 6'1" wing from Etiwanda, California. Ranked number 6 in the country, Kennedy was actually JuJu's state rival before JuJu graduated, so these 2 know each other on court pretty well already. Now, Kennedy is a full package. I'm talking 3-pointers, midi, drive to the basket. She's really strong, so you can't knock her off her line. Post game, a defender, lockdown defender, multiple positions. It's really nothing that she doesn't do well. Rebounds, bully ball on smaller wings, spreads the floor. Not only can you not double off of her on JuJu, but you might have to send a double her way too. In the McDonald's All-American game, she led the West with 15 points. So when I say that she's a star in her own right, in no way is that an overstatement. Just taking that 98 ranking and comparing it to the class of 2020, we can see that pretty much everybody on that list projects to be a WNBA star, or at least a high lottery pick, I should say. Now, we also see that Caitlin Clark and Haley Van Leet are both on that list, so not all 98s are created the same, but still, you get the picture. Even if we look at last year's, the only 2 who had a 98 ranking were JuJu and Michaela Williams with LSU, who both were monsters for their team, so we can see what kind of player she projects to be. So that's back-to-back years where USC gets the #1 ranked player coming out of California, but they're also bringing in some power from the Midwest with Idaho State Player of the Year, Avery Howell, the 5'11" guard from Boise, Idaho, and the 23rd ranked player from this year's class. One of the best rebounders in the country, also a great defender and a knockdown shooter. She exhibits great leadership skills. You can tell by the way she backpedals. She just has that tough Midwestern thing going on about her. Definitely don't have to worry about her being a defensive liability at any point. She's also said to have a really great work ethic, a gym rat, so that should be infectious. Her scouting report actually says that Howell has a no-nonsense leadership style and expects a business-like approach from her teammates. So this isn't some wide-eyed freshman that's coming in just, trying to fit in. She's going to come in and hold people accountable from day one. Now, rounding out the Fivies, we have a New York point guard, 5'9", Kaylee Heckle. And when I say New York point guard, you know what that means if you know anything about basketball. She's shifty, unparalleled 0 to 60 speed. And when I say that she's a pure point guard as far as vision and dropping dimes, she's making pro-level passes already. She has great elevation on her layups. She's a good rebounder for her position. She's already a good defender. I already mentioned passing, but do you see these passes, bro? Like, she's sick with it. There's nothing I can say that the tape isn't already telling you. These are pro-level dimes. Here's my favorite one right here. Look at that. Cross court. Those three alone don't make this a number one class. There's also the 3 4-star recruits, starting with Vivian Iwuchukwu. My apologies if I got that wrong. An athletic 6'3" forward who will definitely bring some strength to the inside. A high motor player. Comes from a basketball family. Her brother Vince actually plays for USC. He's a sophomore there. The physicality that she plays with just jumps off the screen. USC will have a lot of depth at the guard and wing position, so adding somebody like Viv the Big to be a force inside will be a welcome addition. Speaking of guard depth, Ryan Forestier, 5'11" guard from San Antonio, Texas, who does everything. Most importantly, puts it in the basket. Actually had one game this season where she had 62 points and also 13 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. As you can see, she's a dead eye, so when I say she does everything, take my word for it. And last but not least, we have Laura Williams, the number 1 ranked player out of Virginia, also daughter of Doug Williams, former NFL quarterback, and she's a motivator of leg days everywhere because I'm ready to pick up the kettlebell now and get to it. Great athlete, high motor. She'll fit in well with USC's up-tempo style. You won't see her lagging behind in transition. Great addition. Now, returning next year will be Rhea Marshall, who averaged a double-double in her junior year, was probably the second best player all season long. She's from LA, so she fits right in with JuJu and Kennedy as far as the LA connection goes, or Southern California. With Rhea stepping into more of a leadership role in her senior year, we could probably see her production improve. And the great thing about her is that even though she's a 6'4" center, she came in as a 6'3" combo guard. So every scouting report about her says ultra athletic, she has range out to the arc, and the film says the same. So she's already averaging a double-double, but I only see bigger things in her future, which means great things for USC. Looking at the rest of the players that are returning, their roster is stuffed with talent. Aaliyah Gales wasn't able to get on the floor because she's a 25% three-point shooter and Padilla was shooting 42%, but she's a 97 ranked 5-star recruit in her own right, so expected to see that step forward in her sophomore year. Also, Malia Samuels will be coming into her sophomore year, bigger, better, ready to go. Taylor Bigby, we already saw a few good things from her on the floor this year. We'll have more depth down low and some senior leadership in Clarice Akunwafu, yet another California native. And let's be real, if you thought JuJu was nasty in her freshman season, wait until you see her in her sophomore season coming back off of those tears that she shed. I really don't envy anybody that has to hold a vengeful JuJu, especially with a team around her that you won't be able to key in on her defensively like you could this season. Now, am I saying that they will win it all? They can. Probably. But USC will still be there. UConn, Paige Beckers will still be there. And they all have great freshmen incoming themselves. So it'll be no cakewalk. JuJu will only be in her sophomore year. The freshmen will probably need some time to develop into their full selves. But the future is bright in USC, and I have every reason to believe that they will build upon that Elite 8 appearance and JuJu will not be satisfied with less. Do not doubt that USC is coming for that national championship title. So these are all the reasons that you should be excited if you're a fan of USC women's basketball or just a fan of women's college basketball in general. This season has been great. The game is in a great place. The team is in a great place. I'm in a great place. JuJu's in a great place. And you are in a great place because you made it all the way to the end of this video. So go ahead and hit like for your boy. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And until the next one, this is Mike DeWitt, and I'm out.